Hello, everyone. My name is Marie Tomlinson, and I'll be hosting today's podcast. Our topic will be discussing the concerns of cultural diversity and neurodiversity in our schools. I am coming to you live and recording here at Punta Gorda Middle School. I am here with the awesome Mr. Tom Desjardins. We call him Mr. D. He works here as the social emotional learning teacher here at the school. How are you, sir?
Exceptional.
Thank you for helping me out.
Yes, ma'am.
What does cultural diversity mean to you, and why do you think it is important in today's society?
Well, speaking as an educator of 35 years and a retired principal, I have the privilege of teaching the ASD kids now. And so I like to think of diversity in the lens of cognitive issues and traditionally performing kids. I hate to say normal kids because that just isn't right. Everybody is unique individuals, and I think today in society we understand and recognize that. But my job working with the ASD kids is to honor their differences. Much like cultural diversity, everyone has differences. And that's what makes us both unique, special, and able to work in large groups of people and bring something different to the table. And with the age of AI and computer-assisted learning, the folks that used to be really challenged in our society now have something so much to offer, they can communicate with folks. So that's a little bit on my view on diversity amongst neurodiverse students.
All righty, thank you, sir. What cultural diversity means to me is to accept everyone and their traditions and their beliefs. How can we continue to raise awareness and foster a more inclusive and culturally diverse environment?
In the field of neurodiversity and children with ASD, and that's really all I can speak to because that's what I teach now, I think inclusion is the key. Bringing folks into groups of traditionally performing kids and letting those kids experience some of their differences. There are community members, there are neighbors, they go to our churches. And just because they display differently or may have some cognitive delays that make them have to process a little different, doesn't mean that they can't add to the conversation or be involved in extracurricular activities or be involved in group projects. It's good for every learner in our community. I remember, I'm so old that I remember a day when we weren't quite as kind to folks that were different from us. But I think that we've all learned from those experiences, and we know in our hearts that these folks are more than just members of the community, but valued members of the community as well.
Yes, sir. I absolutely agree with you, and I believe that as an upcoming instructor myself and a community member, we need to show our students that we care about their backgrounds and try to relate to them.
Yes.
What is your understanding of neurodiversity, and how do you define it in the context of education?
Neurodiversity, of course, it has a textbook answer that we all know, but I like to focus more on what it looks like to our traditionally performing students. When I'm working with social emotional learning, that's from the heart, right here. That's where our feelings are kept, and not necessarily from our thinky brain. And those are two different skill sets that we need to exercise. I think we have to learn compassion around folks that have differences, and we need to see past those differences to the commonalities between us, not just in lip service and in words, but also looking and seeking for the deeper understanding. Neurodiverse people can present as non-traditional,
Yes,
and
sir.
that can be scary for folks. But I think if we model our behavior in the classroom and provide opportunities for the kids to work, meaningfully work with traditionally performing kids, then it's to benefit for both the kids.
Yes, sir. Neurodiversity means that we accept everyone for being them, no matter what their limitations are. It is part of who the person or persons are. How has being neurodiverse influenced your approach to learning and working?
Well, uniquely being over the age of 55 years old, when I went to school, I was kicked out of the 8th grade. That's a true story right here in our community, because they didn't know, I couldn't read. And in the old timey days, they didn't know much about dyslexia. So I experienced learning in a non-traditional way. That's made me a much better educator. I'm much more thoughtful and looking for deeper root causes of issues. If we look at kids at first blush, just at first sight, and read them for what God put on the outside, we're missing what's on the inside. I know the struggle of trying to learn to read, and even today I struggle with it. Having said that, I was able to overcome those learning barriers to go on to become a school principal, go figure. So that means that other kids just need that compassion and a caring that provides deeper insight, a caring that means that you're looking for root causes, because ultimately, as both a principal and a teacher, I believe we're trying to educate kids to be community members, to be a neighbor that I want to have next door to me, to see somebody I see at church and at the grocery store that's going to raise a nice family, and that's what I'm in it for.
Yes, sir. All right. Neurodiversity and working here at Punta Gorda has opened my eyes to so many things, including how kids with ADHD or who are on the autistic spectrum and how we all deal with certain things is so different.
Yep.
I have learned to be more patient with children and try to connect to them. Mr. D, I'd like to thank you for your time, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Well, this has been a great learning experience for me too, because I got to reflect on my professional practice. And Miss Marie, if I could offer you any advice, we're continual learners. So whatever you learn today, we're going to learn more tomorrow, and I encourage you just to keep growing.
Yes, sir. Thank you.